Hey everyone, welcome back to season 2 of The Kitchen Table. Can you believe it? We did a whole season, 25 episodes of season 1. I want to welcome everyone back. Thank you guys so much for the support. Thank you guys for the subscriptions, for following it, for likes, comments, the whole 9 yards. Remember, everyone is welcome at my kitchen table. I really, truly appreciate the support. I'm having a blast. I needed to take a break to figure things out, but I just wanted to give you guys a synopsis of what to expect of this season, what to expect, what's going to happen this season, what I'm trying to do. You'll see a couple of changes, you'll see a couple of differences. Hopefully everything is fun and works out and you guys like it. First and foremost, you notice the background is a little different. Everything was a little too busy before, what my wife said, so I took her advice, did this. I think this is pretty cool. So it's not too busy, not too distracting. Number 2, microphone is different a little bit. So check that out, right? I got a little arm and stuff. It seems pretty cool. Also, what's going to be changed is we're going to do a lot more interviews. I'm still going to do solos, but I'm going to do a lot more interviews because I want to piggyback off of 25th episode of season 1, which got me the most views and the most listens on YouTube and all the other channels. And for YouTube, it was just a drop in a bucket, but I got 4,000 views on it as of today. And that's really, really cool. For me, that was awesome. For a new YouTuber, a new content creator, a new podcast, 4,000 views is pretty cool. By far the most viewed video that I have. But slowly but surely it's going up. Anyway, so I want to continue with the interview. So that's why I'm doing this, and we're gonna roll right into the interview with Matt, my cousin, who performed the roof rope rescue in Harlem. He was the third guy to go over the roof. He's from Squad 41. It was a great interview. He's got a great story, great background. You guys are gonna really, really enjoy that. But talking about that interview real quick, there's a couple things that you're gonna have to deal with. Unfortunately, I'm still an amateur at this. I'm still figuring things out. His audio, we had used 2 wireless microphones for the video, right? I'm still using 3 iPhones. I'm still using bare bones equipment. His audio with the wireless microphone is perfect. No problems. My audio, for some reason that I didn't notice, I didn't pick up on until I started editing the video, didn't connect to the thing that you put in the iPhone. It is what it is. Thank God Matt's the one that talks the most on that video. So, in that interview. So, just bear with me. I'm still learning how to do this. I didn't catch up. I didn't pick up on it. I saw the light blinking on the wireless mic. Afterwards, it was too late by that time to change it. So, just bear with that. My audio sucks. His audio is really good. On the Apple and Spotify, it's going to be fun because I'm using these mics. These mics plug into the laptop. The wireless mics go to the video. Also, speaking of the video, seeing how I'm using 3 iPhones, I download them onto an app called LumaFusion to edit and synchronize the audio and video. For some reason, the video of me cut off the top of my head. The video of Matt is fine. The video in the middle is fine for what we're doing. My video cuts the top of my head off. I don't know why it did it. The other ones are fine. Got to figure that out. So when I edited it, I limited my screen time, which is fine because you don't want to look at my face. Matt's a lot better looking than me anyway. So most of the video is in the middle or his screen time. Just 2 things I wanted to point out to you guys because I'm still learning. Nobody's helping me. I'm figuring all this out on my own. I'm figuring out what to film in, how many frames per second. I'm figuring out that interviews take a lot more time. They're a lot more challenging to edit and synchronize everything and find space on my phones to move everything around. The solo videos are really easy to edit. My message is easy. I don't really edit too much because it's all about honesty and transparency, right? Not much to edit. Those are really easy. The interviews are hard. That's why it's going to take a few more weeks to do. Like every other week, I'm trying to get an interview, but we'll see what happens. I'm going to do my best. I want to thank you guys again for joining me on the kitchen table. Season 1 was a success to me, a very small success in the content creator world. But for me, it was really, really cool. I'm hoping season 2 is even better. I'm hoping to bring you guys great interviews. That seems to be what the people want to see and hear is the fire interviews, the fire stories, and all that stuff. I'm still going to put out the mental health message in the first responder community, but I'm going to scale it down a little bit and concentrate a lot on first responder stories. And we'll see how those affect them. Work on my interview skills. We'll see how it goes. Thanks so much for joining me again. Enjoy the interview with Matt. See you guys later.
NYPD Aviation to Manhattan.
NYPD Aviation there.
We're 84 on your box. Just advise the companies, you got people hanging out the windows, 3-4 corner on the 4th side.
Right, here we go. There we go. Welcome to the kitchen table. You guys remember me, Kenny D. This is going to be season 2 of the kitchen table, and I'm sitting down with a very special guest. But if you guys watch the show, you know that I was spreading the mental health awareness message in the first season, first 25 episodes. My very last episode, I interviewed Brian Quinn, High Rise Roof Rope Rescue. And so far, that is the video that got the most views. So I am going to pick up where I left off because that's what the people want. I am sitting down with a very special guest who is kind of like family, right? We're kind of related.
I would say, yeah. At this point, very related.
At this point, we're here on the kitchen table casting couch. So what do you guys think? But this is my boy, family, Matt Nolan, current member of Squad 41 FDNY, made a roof rope rescue in Harlem a couple of weeks ago.
It was back in February.
It's been February already.
February, yep.
All right, so we're sitting here chopping it up with Matt. Matt, welcome to the kitchen table. How you
Thank
doing,
you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Appreciate it.
So what's going on? How's life?
Great. Just nice drive down in traffic to come down for the race.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
So we're down at Breezy Point. So you want to tell everybody why we're here in Breezy Point?
So we have the Buckleys to Kennedys run tomorrow. Our cousin Chris passed away, and they are donating a lot of the proceeds to a charity in his name. And we're all down here to run. Hopefully run the whole thing.
We're definitely going to run the whole thing. So Buckley's to Kennedy's run. This is the 44th
yeah, I think so, right? Yeah.
Buckley's to Kennedy's run. This year we are running for Chris Tucci for the Live Like Chris Foundation. Chris died at a very young age due to an undiagnosed heart condition, which if you guys watch the show, you know that I put the link up all the time. I talk about it all the time. So this year we are running for Chris, and we're trying to get some funds for the nonprofit livelikeChris.org. So you guys got to check it out. Donate, all that stuff. By the time this video comes out, it'll be way past the run. So I'll update you guys on the run and everything like that. But anyway, so Matt, tell me about, where you're from. And
I'm up in New Windsor in Orange County. Kind of all over the place when we were younger. Lived in Brooklyn for a very short bit, Long Island for a little bit, and then we settled up there in New Windsor.
When did you live in Brooklyn?
We were there probably right after I was born. I think we went out to the island.
Were you with were they with Marine Park or?
I think so, yeah. I was like an infant when we went out there. My dad's whole family's out east.
Right.
So we were in.
Dad was a cop, right?
Yes. Yep.
Where did he work?
He was. He started off in Brooklyn. Took the sergeant's test. He was one of the sergeants that replaced all the sergeants after the whole 7-5 debacle.
Oh no shit.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
So funny story with that. Like he said, like it was one of his first tours there, and like the guys that didn't do anything wrong were pissed, and
right.
So they were like they destroyed everything. So he's like, they got there, like the locker rooms were messed up, the cars were messed up, and
dude, that's 7-5. You've seen that documentary.
Oh yeah.
That guy is. I mean, I can't even believe he got away with what he got.
Yeah, right.
And now he's still like out doing podcasts.
He's got like a cigar company now.
With like the dude that like the drug dealer.
Yeah. Yep.
So your father went in right after.
Like right after that, he was like, I think they made a bunch of sergeants, and they were like, "That's where you're going," because there's nobody there anymore.
I guess they cleaned.
Yeah, they cleaned a house after that. Yeah.
Holy shit.
So then he did that. He got into ESU, and nice. When we went after we went upstate, he was in, I don't know like the whole timeline, but he ended up in Truck 4 in the Bronx.
Truck 4 is it?
It's like right by Van Cortlandt Park.
The whole Bronx. Truck 4 does.
3 and 4. So they were like northern, and then 3 I think does like the South Bronx. Right, but I think those guys might be citywide at this point.
Right. Yeah. Like ESU is they're interchangeable. They're like rescue squad. You guys go everywhere.
Yeah, all over the place.
So you never had any thoughts of being a cop? Because you
it was like whenever I decided to be a fireman, like it was like that's where I was going. Like I really had no interest in doing anything else. Like I didn't want to be a lawyer. I didn't want to be a banker. I didn't want anything to do with that. Yeah. school was never my thing, you know, and I showed interest in being a fireman. My old man was like, definitely don't be a cop, you know. And he said too, he's like, if you're gonna go to the city, go that route, and then get out. Like go to a town in the suburbs somewhere where you're making money.
Oh, like if you were going to be a cop in the city, get some time and then shoot out.
He's like, just have them like pretty much go to the academy and get out. But I mean, he, you know, I'm so happy I went, you know, the route I did. Yeah. You know,
were you a volley or anything like that?
I did it for a while. Yeah. Yeah. And that's like when I was like 16 and it was like, that was probably like right after 9/11.
Really?
Yeah. So I think that's kind of like what did it for me. Like I had a lot of like, my parents had a lot of friends that did it.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, most likely that's kind of what I was like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And so I did that for a while. They were great. They paid for college, like the little college I went to. Yeah. But a guy found like a grant or something like that. And they had to pay for books the whole time I was there. That was it.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? So I know, because I'm from Brooklyn, born and raised in the city, there's no real, aside from down here like Breezy Point, there's no volunteer companies.
Right.
All your volunteer companies in Long Island, upstate, you know, I don't know if I have any volunteers that watch the show, but like that's how volleys are usually older guys and like teenagers. Yeah. Was there a certain age? Did you catch any work? Like, were you allowed to go into the fires?
Yeah, after, so I did it, I started on 16, when I was 18, I was actually like allowed to go in.
Oh, 18.
Yeah.
All right.
And then, that's what, you know, I went to college around then, and 2 years in Dutchess Community College, and then EMS called me. And then after that, like the whole volley thing, I was like, I just didn't have time. Like it was, you know, EMS 5 days a week, and I was just like driving to the city, and then you get to the point, you're like, you know, like, I don't want to wake up at 3 a.m. for a volley run, you know, and like, as bad as that sounds, you know, I know, not knocking those guys, because you need those guys, you know?
1,000%.
But I just got to the point, I was just like, I don't have the time, and you know, EMS there, you're working like a dog, and you're shot.
Well, that's kind of what happens, like with the volleys. Like, I see it a lot. I'm not a volley, and again, like you said, we need volleys. Thank you for volleys out there. You know, we like breaking new balls on the FDNY, but you know, it is what it is. We need volleys. If I live upstate, if my house goes on fire, fucking, I need somebody to come
exactly,
But you get a lot of teenagers that start, but they move on to college, they get wives and move away.
Yeah, it's like that. I feel like it's just that natural progression. Like you just, and guys do, I saw a lot of guys, they did that and they came back after like things settled down in their lives, and they're able to come back. And my life, nothing's hasn't really settled down yet, you know? Kids, married, kids, another kid on the way.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
Congratulations.
And another,
is this news to, is this first?
I thought everybody knew. I thought you knew.
Nobody tells me.
Yeah, Jen's due. My wife, she's due in October on Halloween. Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
Nice. Yep. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's the third boy. So.
Oh, you already know.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's gonna be us breaking up fights.
Man,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. I told her, it's like, we're just gonna be breaking up fights the rest of our lives. It's fine. Dude, it's gonna be great. Yeah. So, yeah, just like, you know, and then like work, and then, you know, I did, like I said, like I did the volley thing, and then like I think that just kind of cemented it. Like it's awesome. Like it's fun, and it was like, and then once EMS called, I was like, cool, like I'm going, obviously, and once again, like, thank God for my father, because he was, you know, I was 20 when I got an EMS.
Okay.
And
you got to be 21 to get on the fire department, right?
So
you get on a 20 in EMS.
When I got it through the academy, he's like, all right, do all the pension paperwork now. And I was like, pension? Like, what the heck? I don't need the pension. Like, I'm 20, you know?
Yeah.
And thank God he stayed on me with it, because now, like, it kept me in tier 2, and all the time counted, and I had to, like, you know, these poor guys in tier 3.
I know, like,
it's getting better, but
there was a thing when they weren't letting guys transfer their time over that came from the EMS.
Yeah, something like that. Now I think they can, but they got to pay for it. And
so when did you
like
get
I don't
on
know.
EMS?
January of 07.
January of 07. Okay,
yep.
I was in the fire department about 4 years. So, and you knew from day one, you were like, I'm going.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. And that was And EMS, like you said, like, you need that job, but it's a tough job, man. It's tough to. The guys who do 25 years I don't know how they do it, man.
I believe they're underpaid, overworked. I mean, they take the most shit out there. Like, you know, you were in an engine for a while, and you know how it is. We get the engine runs, we go on the medical runs, and we just hand them off to EMS. And we got to deal with them into the hospital. So those guys need to get paid more. They need to hire more of those guys.
Yeah,
better.
Especially like this time of year, the summer is rough, man. Like you're waiting a while for a bus, and we don't have any. You know, sure, so but especially
up in where we were.
Yeah.
So all right, so you got any memorable runs in EMS that kind of bugged you out, or what?
I mean, I was in a good spot. So actually, where I am now is where I was EMS. So I was in the South Bronx. So I got like
Okay.
there's a lot of a lot of shootings, a lot of stabbings.
Did I ever run in with you on any runs when you were EMS?
I don't think so, because you know what it was. The South Bronx was so busy. We were never sent over to Harlem. Never.
No.
Yeah.
All right.
Unless it was like we had to go take someone to a hospital there, but then they would pull you right back.
Yeah.
They needed as many buses in the South Bronx they could get.
The South Bronx hasn't changed much.
No, it's
you
like
got anything like you remember? Like I talk about, I've been to shootings, stabbings, like crazy shit. Like only regular people see maybe that once or twice in their whole life.
Right. Yeah.
Guys like you working in the South Bronx, probably seen that shit for 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
Every night you see 10 or 20 of those freaking
yeah,
ones.
and even like those like the shootings, like after a while, you just like you would listen, like a lot of units like would listen to like the PD radio, because it would always come over PD first, and they would like guys would try to like buff out the shooting and try to like get in there, because like you'd rather work up like a traumatic call than the guy who's like another sick runner or something like that, so it's like, and there was no shortage of the traumatic stuff.
That's your training. You want to, you don't wish anybody to get shot, but if somebody does, you want to be there to do your job instead of the difficulty breathing type of stuff.
Like, so I feel like something like that is like the only thing I could equate now is like it's like going to a fire. Like that's their 1075. Doing something like that.
Yeah. So like for me, like going to a fire, I was like, I love fighting fire.
Yeah.
I just love being in the fire.
The best.
The best. But I didn't really start seeing the damage it does. I got a little older and more mature.
Yeah.
So you're like, fuck, man, I love going to fire, but look what it does to people's lives.
And it's also like, I think kids play a big role in that too. Like having kids, like that's weird too. Like you go into a fire now and you see, a kid's bed, kids' toys. Yeah. And you're like, like you're like, yeah, right, awesome, caught a job, but it's also like, man, this is a kid's bedroom, like.
We caught, I remember we caught a brownstone real quick, and the kid's room had all the same shit as Luke's room when he was a kid. And I was like, oh man, this is weird, man.
It's terrible.
we went on this run when I was in Brooklyn, and it turned out to be nothing. But the lady was like, oh, thank you so much, and the guy I was working with, he goes, yeah, thank you. I wish your house was ripping right now. I was like, that's fucked up.
Yeah,
but I mean, that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
All right, so you do EMS 6 years in South Bronx.
Yeah, I went to the academy for a little bit. I went to Fort Totten for like the last year and a half.
You did. So
I taught out there for a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, and that was great. It was like me, a bunch of guys my age, all guys getting ready to go to Proby school whenever it happened, and we were. I think I was there when I actually took the written, so it was like we kind of knew it was going, but no one was getting their hopes up, because that was like the whole lawsuit time, and they stopped hiring.
Right.
And that's pretty much why I was there for 6 years. Like they had offered us a couple tests, and they said you can't even promote, so send their money back, pretty much type deal. Yeah. And it was great, man. But I mean, you think about it now, like we probably decimated the academy, because there was like 15 of us that were gone the moment they started Proby school.
Do you think on EMS when you went there, what was the percentage of guys that were waiting for fire?
It has to be a lot. I percentage wise, I would half, maybe more than half.
Really?
Yeah. And it's like that now, man. Like these guys, like I know a friend of mine. He, my friend Dave, he's a captain. Should be getting out soon. He was on EMS. They got rid of the promotion. Him and a bunch of guys left. Like everyone quit, and then he ended up getting hired off the open competitive. Yeah. And I think the city realized, like, oh man, we can't ever get rid of this promotion, because that's right. We lost a ton of EMTs and medics. Shit, so, but now I think because they put off a promotion list for a while, so I think there's a lot of guys taking that test again.
Are you on the list? Did you take the test?
I mean, I'm on the list. I'm not passing on the list, but I'm on paper. I took the test.
You took the test.
Yeah. It was I didn't really study for it, because I kind of I knew I wanted to go to 41.
Yes.
I knew I wanted to go into SOC, and when the test came around and like everyone's studying, I'm like, I don't know if this is really what I want to do. Like, I don't know if I want to be a boss. I don't know. I like going into a fire. Like, the boss is going to the fires, man, but I like being the guy that works. Like, I like that, Yeah. And it didn't interest me at the time. Like, when I was in Proby school, man, I was hitting the books hard. Like, did really well academically in Proby school. Yeah. And then if I had kept that going from that for, however long it took to be eligible for a test, but I probably would have done a lot better. But it just wasn't like it wasn't really on my radar at the time, you know. And now I'm happy, very happy where I am.
Yeah. So like, you know, I know they tell you don't get out of the books.
Yeah.
Because once you're out of the books, you're out.
It's hard to get back in.
It's hard to get back in.
Yeah.
And I mean, like you do an evolution, you'll read the evolution or whatever. That's different than actually studying.
Yeah.
And once you're out of that, it's really hard to get back in that. So anybody that's out there freaking studying, it's on the fire department. If you're a young guy, stay in the books.
Keep it going.
Stay in the books.
Yeah. Because they hit you with the and or, you know, and like I hate that. Like, is it this and this or this or this? And you're like, like that one little word. It's like
one little word.
If you don't read that a couple times, you're never gonna remember that.
I was never good at studying. So, you know, I'm more of a hands-on guy, and that's how I learned. Even in fires, like, you know, like, okay, I can read. Okay, you stretch. I need to.
You just got to do it.
To do that.
Yeah.
All right. So, 6 years in EMS. What was the station that you were at?
I was in 55. So.
55.
Yep.
All right.
It was the old engine 71 and ladder 55 house. Like on Park.
Quarters?
Yeah, it was their old firehouse. So it was 159 in Park in the Bronx.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So you're definitely a little further up than where 59 would go. Like we'd go over the bridge a couple times, but not to 159.
Right.
Unless there's a multiple up there, we'd go. Cool. All right. So EMS. When did you get the call for fire?
So it was funny. So when we took the promotion, everyone cross-filed. Just you're on both the open and the promotion. So I was number 11 on the promotion with like a 98.
Okay.
And then I got my open competitive number and I was like 9,500 something. So I was like, all right, I guess, you know, the promotion's the way to go, you know? And
so for anybody that doesn't know what we're talking about, when EMS is a part of the FDNY. They merged in late 90s?
I want to say 96, something like that.
So
somewhere along there, yeah.
You were able to get promoted from EMS to go to the FDNY. Or you could just take the civil service test again on your own. So that's what we're talking about. Promotion test or just civil service tests. So you took the promotion.
Yeah.
You were 9, you said, on the list?
No, I was 11. Yeah, 11 on the list.
You were
Yeah.
9,000.
9,000 something on the open competitive.
So I think I know where you'll go.
Yeah. So, and it was crazy, man. Like, it was, my whole class was all EMS. It was all like, it was cool too, man. Like, I had great time in Proby school.
Yeah.
Loved it. Like, great squad. Still, like, we still do stuff together, you know, still meet up. And it was a blast. And, like, everyone was from EMS. And it was funny, like, even the DIs are like, man, we got to, like, break you with this, like, EMS mentality. Because everyone's kind of like, oh, you're a boss. Like, all right, like, let me not get, you know, let me just like kind of stay away from you. And they were like, guys, it's not like that here. Like, you guys gotta break that mentality of like, we want to see you do well. We're not here to like, you know, have anything go wrong with you guys. But we did that, and like I said, man, Proby School was awesome. We were there, and it was crazy. It was almost 6 years to the day that I went to from EMS to Proby School. So I was January 14th of 2013. I went to EMS January of 07.
So January 14th, 2013
was Proby School.
Proby School.
So it was like almost like 6 years to the day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, cool, man.
And it was great, even though it was bitterly cold. And
the whole class was EMS though?
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yep.
So the whole promotion class was a promotion class for EMS.
Yeah, which we were actually worried about too, because we were thinking like we heard like rumors that like if they take too many, they'll send half back, and like
did anybody go back?
Nobody went. Like voluntarily, like or
well, I
guess like some people who like they might have realized, hey, like this isn't for me. Like no, and I really knew, but like maybe, or if they like had a problem like academically, like
how many were in that class?
There was like 325, something like that. I think we finished with over 3. I know that, but I don't know.
So you only lost like 20.
Yeah, and that like some guys like I want to say like some people got hurt and had to get recycled, and some people like I think like had trouble with the run. You know, stuff like that. But yeah, like when I was there, I was like, "There's not a chance in hell I'd ever like." I was like, "I could snap my leg in half right now, and I'm finishing."
We lost. I want to say we lost about 40 dudes the first week.
Yeah,
a lot were PD guys that were like, "Fuck this, I'm going back."
Right. Yeah.
And we were like, I was like, "I'm not going anywhere."
Yeah.
But you do whatever you want to do.
Right.
And then after that, after like that first week, we might have lost 1 or 2 guys from getting hurt, but we didn't lose anybody else.
Yeah.
I think the first week we lost a bunch.
Yeah.
And then that was it. So I'm surprised to hear.
Yeah, I might be wrong on the number, but I think we finished with a little over 3, around 3, somewhere around there. But I think it was just guys going, "There's no way I'm going back to an ambulance." You know, they they got to drag me there, kicking and screaming.
So what squad were you in?
A13.
A1. I was
Yep.
A23.
Okay. Yeah.
Were you squad leader or anything? Like
No. We yeah, thankfully. But it was all like we're like, dude, it's like anything now. It's like the firehouse, right? It's like you're herding cats, and it's just guys that like, you know what I mean? Like it's just like it's like the typical fireman that are like you do this. No, I don't want to do that. I want to do this. You know, and just like this, and the squad leader takes the brunt of everything.
I got yelled at so much.
Yeah.
I mean, it was great. It was cool. Like my first day there, I was trying to teach guys how to salute.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
I tell the story, but my buddy was like, dude, you don't want to be a squad leader.
Yeah.
Do not. They're gonna want you to go background. So we were all lined up, and do you remember Wunderlich, Donnie Wunderlich? Was he there? Was he in it?
Nah.
He was awesome drill instructor, whatever you want to call him. He was saying, you motherfuckers don't want to be a fucking squad leader. And he cursed a lot.
Yeah.
And I was like, and he like had the military guys and the law enforcement guys lined up, like separate from the rest of the class. And I look around and I go, now I'm remembering what my buddy said. I go, I'm going to step out and go, I don't want to be a squad leader. He said, you don't want. And I go, you don't want. And one dude stepped out and they ripped this guy apart the rest of the program. Like, that's great. You don't step up, you're a scumbag. You're not going to, I was like, thank God.
Of course, right?
But yeah, I was a squad leader.
Like I feel like just like everything's a setup with stuff like that.
Total setup. I never asked him if he set me up or not.
We had one guy that I don't know what happened, but they like told him like, all right, you're done being a squad leader. He was like halfway through. And he was like, they're like, just get in line. So he goes to get in the end of the line. As he's running, he's like, yes. And the DIs heard him and they were like, you know what? Get your ass back. You're back in being a squad leader. He's like, oh man. He's like, you should have just kept your fucking mouth shut.
I was more afraid of getting fired from that because that's what he said. He goes, they make example out of those guys.
Yeah.
And if you're a leader of these guys and they fire you, it's just going to follow you.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to get freaking fired from this job.
And I tell you what though, man, like I said, man, my squad was great. Like it was a bunch of guys I had already known, and we had a great time. Like it was good, and like I said, we still get together, we still do stuff, we still have we try to get together once a year. Yeah. A couple of us try to get like to a Mets game or something, but it's great, man. I had a blast.
So you went in January. How was it being there?
Freezing. Yeah. We didn't get too much snow, but like the wind whipping through the rock is always brutal.
Especially coming out soaking wet after.
Oh yeah, everything just froze. Yeah.
Now there's something special here. You were the salutatorian of. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
And that's go ahead. Tell us about that.
Well, when the valedictorian had to give a speech at graduation, I was like, thank God I didn't get. Like I think he got to the stage, he looked out, and he just goes, "Whoa!" Like I was like, thank God, and yeah. I mean, it was like we just it was all
honor, man. That's great.
It was great. You know, man, it came down to like everyone else, man. We just had study groups all the time. Like I was living with 3 other guys from Proby school in Queens.
Oh, really?
And like one of the guys was like, yo, I got an apartment. If you guys want to crash here during the week, and it cut my commute down. It was like a 20-minute ride to the Rock as compared to like an hour and 20 minutes from home. You know, and it was a lifesaver. But like we were able to study. All the guys from my squad, we would study like in the mornings and stuff like that. So it all like it really is like I think it was just like luck of the draw. Like we had everybody else was like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 too. You know what I mean? So it's like it's just like luck of the draw with that. And once I saw the speech had to be given, I was like, all right, I'm cool being second on this one.
Well, good, man. That's quite an accomplishment. Yeah. Did that follow you in the firehouse? Did the guys break your balls a little bit about that? Did they find out?
I think it might have came out eventually, but like knowing like it was kind of like one of those things like, oh, that's great, but now welcome to the real world,
right?
You know?
Nobody gives a shit. Right?
Yeah, no one cares, man. Cool.
What was the hardest thing in Proby school for you?
I mean, hard, like FST sucked, but it was great. I loved it, but it was like that was one of the things. It was tough, and like it should remain tough. Like that's
absolutely as
close to like, you're not going to be doing every single one of those things at a job, but you're going to be that tired, you know, and I don't know, man. Other than that, like I don't know, like I think I was just so happy to be there. I was like, I think they could have told me to like go around and like clean toilets with a toothbrush all day, and like, all right, fine, like whatever, as long as I'm here.
From EMS, you're like, this is like you never had a moment where you were like, oh man, I don't know if I'm cut out for this. No. I did. Yeah, definitely did. Yeah. If you listen to the show, I'm not gonna go into that. But
yeah, like I was like, that sucked too. I got a funny story about that. And that was. We were doing it. Like I said, it was freezing. So like the instructors had burn barrels going, and so like you do Motivation Alley and you reset the line. You do it 800 times. So that the burn barrel, like I happened to be like the guy, like you rotate around, and I pulled the thing back, and I guess I got a little too close to the burn barrel, and one of the instructors like sees me like near it, like, are you fucking kidding me? What, are you fucking cold? You gotta stand next to the and I was just like at first I didn't realize the guy's yelling at me, you know? And I was like, who's this guy yelling? And I was like, oh man, he's fucking. I was like, oh shit. I didn't even realize like where I was. I was like freezing cold. I was like dead tired. I was like, oh man, I guess I got a little too close. And the guy's like, what'd you do? I was like, honestly, I have no idea. I was just
my ass, man.
Yeah, that was.
I tell the story. It's just, and I was like, I did it. Like I pushed my way through it, and I was like, fuck, man, that was. Like, this is what it's like in a real fight, because I'd never had any experience.
Right.
Aside from seeing a couple fights, I mean, in the Navy, they send you to firefighting schools, but it was propane fires. They didn't have didn't have like live burns. It was real easy shit. Like, and it was fun. I was like, oh, this is nothing. But pushing that 2.5, and the fourth guy on the line finally getting to the front, I was like, holy shit, man, I don't know.
And the worst is too, like they were like, we were there in the dead of winter, so they were like literally taking like rock salt and throwing it down. So now like on top of the ice, now you got rock salt. You get, like, and he's just trying to push this line down, and it was
the jacket up the pressure.
It was great.
So cool. All right, so you get Proby school, salutatorian, fucking breezed through Proby school, had a great time.
I wouldn't say breeze, but yeah, I had fun. I had a good time, man. Good.
So where'd you get assigned?
84 and 34, Washington Heights.
And is that where Harlem meets the Heights?
That's it. Yep.
All right, great house, great company.
Oh, I loved it. Loved it.
Tell me about getting assigned to 84.
Got assigned to the engine. The whole class got assigned to engines right out of the gate, because we were like,
no one went to a truck.
No, because we were the first class in I think 5 years, somewhere around there, maybe a little over. So all those transfer papers that had been pending to go to trucks, they all went through, and then we backfilled the engines.
Right.
So, it was great, man.
Did you have a hook? Did you know you were going there, or that's just kind of?
Not really. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and even with like getting salutatorian, like I don't know how they do it now, but like with me, the valedictorian, and the fitness award winner, we were able to choose 3 battalions. So someone said they used to do it like choose 3 companies, but I think like this like the fire department was just hurting for people to be somewhere. Right. So they were like, you get to pick 3 battalions. So I think I did like the 13th, the 14th, maybe the 16th. I forget exactly what actual battalions I picked. I did pick the 13th, and but no, like, I mean, I feel like anyone that I knew that worked for the fire department, like all my parents' friends that like had been retired, had been, so they were like so out of the loop with,
right. It's been too long. All the guys were gone.
Right.
Now 84 and 34 is in 13th? Yep. That's 13. And that is, what division is that? 7th division. Yeah. All right, cool. And great, man. I love, like, still, not that I'm out of there long or anything, but I still like go to everything, like try to make as much as I can. Yeah. Great guys there, man. Awesome house. Like, even the guys that like when I got there, I think 2 or 3 guys got promoted like immediately. So like as a Proby, like you're thrown right into that whole thing too. This guy you just met 2 days ago is getting promoted tomorrow, so you better be there. It's like, all right. Yeah. And then a couple, like 3 years later, the next test rolled around. Like it's always been a big study house. Like 13 more guys did really well, and they were gone. 13.
Like 13 guys, yeah.
Holy shit!
And this last test is like the same thing, like the same, Wow. And everyone did well.
Some houses have that reputation study, and guys take on that.
Yeah.
That role.
It's crazy, and I guess it's always been like that. Like Kill Duff was in 34. Yeah. And like they just always had that reputation of being a big study house.
You remember your first nozzle job?
I do.
Well, how about your first fire with 84? Well, was it a nozzle job?
Actually, no, because I just relieved someone on control. And so I came in. It was like 7 a.m. Relieved the guy on control, and we went driving and we pulled up the block. And we had a spare rig, so I was like I was on the chauffeur side by myself, and I was like, there's smoke in the street, and the guys were like, oh shit, all right, we're going, going to work, good. And we went up, and like the first hydrant was out of service. Of course. So went up the block. I was riding the back of the rig. So the guy was like, oh man, he goes, I should have given you the nozzle. I was like, sorry about that. I was like, this is what it is, And it's like the typical story, right? Like the guy Jerry I went there with, love that guy to death. One of my best friends, worked EMS with him. He was like catching everything, Like he worked, I think the engine was out of service one day, and he was in the truck, caught a can job. Like, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, man, I can't catch anything right now. I was like, nothing. And and then like I had like 2 or 3 back to back, like out of nowhere. and it was like a while after being there, and it was like it's getting frustrating, and you're like, God damn it, man, like, and it's just it's awesome. Like there's really no other way to explain it, you know.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I think the first one I had, it was actually like we were the third due engine. All the trucks like out on BI or something, all the trucks were delayed, so it was like just 4 engines there. It was great. It was insane, and it had auto exposed to the floor above, and it was to be getting there, and it was like it looked like it was the original fire department. It was ripping.
Where was it?
I think 93 and 45 were first due.
Okay.
So probably somewhere, I don't know the exact street, but somewhere like up by 181 Street.
Right.
And I think like the first truck, the 45 got in, and then like 36 truck got in, and like their senior guy was with me the whole time, and I was like, the guy's awesome, Mike Wonder, awesome guy. Like he's just like, let's go, kid. You know, like that's it, let's go.
Dude, you do that so often. How a senior guy will take a guy under his wing at a job or whatever.
Yep.
Let's go, kid.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, kid. You know, like that's
it was awesome,
so
man.
Great, man.
It was great.
That's such a great thing with fire.
Yep. And then so I did a little less than 5 years in '84, and then I crossed the floor.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. So
was that like your natural progression? You always wanted to, you know, after a while.
Yeah, like you know what it was like. I never like gave it like that much thought, and then like after doing a couple of tours there and stuff like that, and you know just working over there every once in a while, and I was like, yeah, this is awesome. Like this is what I want to do. Like more involved with the tools, more involved. You know, like actually like getting off the rig on pretty much everyone and doing something. Yeah. Like you're you know, and pretty much gas leak you could take a door. You know what I mean? Especially that neighborhood, you can find a door to take. Right. You know, so you just like
you're thinking a lot more. In the truck.
Yep.
Like it keeps your mind working a lot more.
Yeah.
Right? So it's very difficult in the engine, in a slower house, to keep that mind.
Right.
I always like to go over a run all the time in my head, just to stay sharp. So in a truck, it's a little easy because you're getting off the rig, you're sizing up the building more, you get going into the building more. So you like that part of the job more.
Yeah, like just a little more hands on with everything. Yeah. But it was great, man. Like I said, everyone that worked there, like everyone's like, you know, they always say like, oh, we're like the house of love. You know, like it wasn't too. Oh yeah, like in the battalion, they're like, oh man, you guys don't really crush anyone. I'm like, oh, you know.
You didn't say that about my house.
No, definitely not your house. Definitely not. I think I worked out at your place once, and Nick came in and he relieved me. It was like I was a Proby still. It was like 2 p.m, and he's like, "You're up," and I was like, "Yeah, I'm working tonight. I'm a Proby." He's like, "I fucking said you're up." I was like, "See you later." Like,
you probably relieved him in the morning.
Probably
hung out for an hour and then relieved you an hour later. He's like, "Get this fucking guy out of here." He was known for that.
Yeah, but he was like, "No, I said you're up." I was like, "I'd see you later."
He was something.
Yeah, but yeah, it was awesome. 161 Street, man. This place is the best, you know.
You guys, great house. Yeah. We ran in with you guys a couple times.
Yeah.
I think we
bumped into each other a few. Yeah. Yep.
Always had a good reputation. I know a couple guys up there. I know some guys that rotated through there.
I do a lot too, man. Little Bravest. That's a big charity in the house too. They for 2 guys who John Sullivan and Rory O'Flaherty passed away. John had 9/11 cancer. Rory had a kind of similar to Chris, undiagnosed heart defect. What they do, so the charity will go and visit like children's hospitals.
Okay.
They donate money, first responders, kids, military, like anything like that. Like, you know, someone that the guys are awesome. You know, if you just gotta.
It's called Little Bravest.
Yep.
Little Bravest or Little.
LIL, yeah.
LIL.
Yep.
I'm gonna hit that link up in the description, and I'll put it up. So Little Bravest, check it out.
Yeah, those guys are doing a lot of good work, man. Still, and they still visit the hospitals and.
Nice.
You know, stuff like that. Yeah. And, you know, we actually, we did a trip out to like Memphis. We did a St. Jude's trip.
Oh, really?
You know, yeah.
You went to that?
Yeah. We made it work for us. We hit up Nashville on the way out of there. But, yeah, we did the trip to Memphis, man. It's like unbelievable. The hospital's usually pretty good too. Like they'll, you know, it depends like unfortunately how bad the kids are. So they'll be like, you guys can stay here and only here and we'll bring who we can to you.
Right.
And then, you know, there's some times where it could be like, you guys come right up to the rooms and, you know,
it's fun. I'm sure you guys like whatever you guys want us to do.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You want us to fucking climb the building, we'll do it. You guys want to bring a kid here, we'll do it.
Yeah.
That's one great thing about firemen is we'll do shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do whatever you ask us to do.
And Little Bravest, and they've been around. I don't know how long, but like before I got there, you know, they've been around a long time. And you know, there's a big golf outing every year in Yonkers. There's, you know, the guys, you know, I'm kind of out of the loop, not being there anymore, but I still try to help do what I can. But yeah, they do a lot of great stuff for those kids.
Man. Yeah, outstanding. That's great stuff. So 84-34, right? Mm-hmm. So what total time did you do? How much time did you do? I
was there for a little over 10, and then I got called for 41.
All All right. So what made you want to go to Squad 41?
I had always run in with those guys on EMS, right? Because I was in the same area, and like I just like knew their reputation, knew how much they ran and went to work. Like they have the squad area is ridiculous. It goes down to like the 80s in Manhattan, you know, all over the Bronx. It's, you know, and they could catch a lot of work. It's great. And it's still like it's a Bronx firehouse, you know, like it's all great guys, gentlemen, you know, and all guys that just want to go to more fires.
So Squad 41 is basically the squad of the 6th Division, which covers South Bronx, Harlem, some into Manhattan. Is that right? Or?
Yeah. So like, and it's weird too, like a 61 comes down, Squad 61 comes down, and it's like the cutoffs aren't like exact. Right. So, you know, there's some that like the borderline where like a, you know, box will come in and be like, oh, like you could like look it up, be like, see who actually has it. Yeah. But yeah, I mean the smaller first due area, but the squad area is tremendous.
Right. So now how long have you been in squad?
I just hit a year in April, and that's when me and the other guy they took with me. Yeah. That's when you do a year detail, and then you put in and you get assigned there after the year. Okay.
So you're officially assigned.
Officially assigned in May. Yeah.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So tell anybody who's like a civilian or whatever, what's the difference between like a squad, a rescue, and an engine company and a truck company? Why is squad different? What differs squad from the regular companies out there?
Well, we still do like we still have first due, second due, third due boxes. We go on EMS. We get all the same training as a rescue, just not scuba. Okay. And their rigs obviously are massive compared to ours. So they carry a lot more.
What's the extra training that you guys get that regular engines and trucks don't get?
So pretty much like besides like right after Proby school, like it's all up to drilling and when they bring you out to the rock and stuff like that. So this like what you get in a sock, like so you and every company's a little different, like the way the captains decide to send you there. So like Captain Q 41, he took us there. We worked in the firehouse for a couple months, and it's great because now there's new blood, so guys are like, all right, let's go over this, let's go over that. Let's, you know, a lot more technical. So we did a few months there. I think we did close to like 5 or 6 months. We get sent to rescue tech school, which is 3 weeks.
Rescue tech school.
And that's just like, it's like 1 day of everything. So it's like 1 day of like high angle, 1 day of collapse, 1 day of confined space, 1 day of trench, a couple of days of firefighter removal. Right. So that's just 3 weeks. I'm running you through like just a little taste of everything. Yeah. Then after that, you go to like the week-long school. So now you get a week of high angle, a week of collapse, 2 weeks of collapse, week of confined space, week of trench.
Yeah. Really get in depth.
Really get into it. And then the hazmat like technician too. That's like the big thing, you know. Like the second piece is all hazmat stuff, the level A suits and, you know, the barrels and the offload kits and all that stuff. And but it's like really like it's just like the technical side of the fire. It's like a whole it's crazy. It's almost like it's just like a whole another side of the fire department that like very few people get to see. And it's just like the training is insane, you know. Like
all these trainings, are you getting certified? Or are you just getting trained?
A lot of them. So I think they definitely like the hazmat technician, like that's like a national certification now. Yeah. Collapse is FEMA. That's like a FEMA certification. Okay. And everything else is like state. So like high angle is a state certification. And like hands down the best class that I've been to, not that I've been to all of them yet, but was firefighter removal. Oh, wow. The advanced firefighter removal. They reenact like fires that we have had where firemen have gotten killed. And it's incredible. Like the way they do it, it's insane. You know, it's just lights out conditions. They
on air, everything.
Yeah, everything on air. Like they put you in rooms where it's just like, all right, it's pitch black, and Woody from Rescue 2, they call it like Woody's House of Horrors, and it's just like, you just go in and he's like, all right, like listen for the pass alarm and figure it out. Yeah, you know.
Unfortunately, a lot of our procedures and evolutions have come because of firefighters who died in fires, and guys had to get them out. And you learn from that stuff how to get them out, what went wrong, and a lot of things change when a guy dies, and they bring an evolution to change it. You know, so a lot of policies are. You hear this in the military, like written in blood, almost. You know. Yeah. So going to those schools, they probably change them up a little bit every now and again too, just to. Yeah,
they'll update it like as gosh, you know. Unfortunately, something happens, and they'll add something in, you know, right. And. and I think one of the best parts is they do case studies on all of them, and they bring in guys who were there, guys who helped get that guy out, guys who found that guy, and not just guys from soccer who were there to help, guys like anyone that job-wide that was there, like they'll find out and they'll bring them in and be like, hey, would you mind talking to these guys? Yeah, right. And that's like, but that was definitely I always said after that I was like they should definitely have if they don't want to do the whole course, an abbreviated version for every truck company on the job. Yeah. Every truck company is a fast truck. They should definitely is a fast truck on the job. They should definitely have something even if it's just hey we will do a week, send us 5 of your guys that want to do it. Yeah. And it's great, man. That was hands down that's a great idea. Yeah. And you get your ass kicked. It's 4 or 5. I don't know if it's 5 days now. They changed the whole thing up, but it was 4 days, and by the 4th day, you're man, you beat up.
Fucking guy sharp.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah. It was great.
Stuff. Yeah. All right, cool, man. So you're now at Squad. You're learning all this stuff. Mm-hmm. You're happy to be there.
Love it. Yeah.
Is it like being a Proby again, even though you got 10 years on a job?
I mean, yes and no. It's weird like that. It's that weird transition, but no one's ever treated me like that personally. No one's ever been yo, dude, sinks over there. There's a guy who just aged out. He was you'd have to he would beat you to the sink. And he wouldn't care. He'd be no, I'm here. I'm good.
For people that don't know, Probies don't get assigned to squad and rescue companies. It's all senior guys with a certain amount of time on the job, guys with a lot of experience, guys that have been waiting a long time to get there. So because Probies don't have any experience, they don't send them to companies like that. Right. So I asked because when you get to the firehouse at 84, you're a Proby. You're in the fucking sink, you got a mop, da-da-da-da-da. Yeah. But when you get to a company where it's all senior guys, you got 10 years on the job, they treat you like a gentleman. You're still going to do that stuff. Yeah. But everybody does it.
Everyone does it. Yeah. No one's no, you're not no one's looking for yo, how come he doesn't have a broom in his hand? Right. It's not like that. And
I got 15 years. You got 12 years. Why don't you?
Yeah. But no, it's great, man. Everyone, everyone's pitching.
Cool, man. Yeah. So you get all this training, you do all this stuff, and you wind up doing an evolution that we all know, that we've all trained on hundreds and hundreds of times. So take me through that step by step from when you got the we to who was over first and what you did and how you got there.
Yeah, so we heard
talk about the roof rope rescue, which is why we're here.
So and the crazy thing was I was 2 weeks out of high angle school, so I was on rope every day for that week, so just whatever, but it's funny, but so yeah, we heard the run come in and that area
what time did it come in?
I want to say it was mid-afternoon.
Right, it was in the afternoon.
Yeah, it was in the afternoon. I should have bought the the guys printed out the ticket for me.
Send me that.
Yeah, I will. Yeah.
Send me the video of you because I want to put it all up anyway.
Okay.
But go ahead.
Yes, we heard that come in, and then they load up the box, and that means it's an extra engine, us, rescue, and the rescue battalion. So they load that up,
start getting the ticket,
start getting it going, and we're driving there, and it wasn't a far ride for us. It was right over the 145th Street Bridge. Yeah. Right there. And as we're coming across the bridge, we hear NYPD Aviation to FDNY Manhattan. And we all kind of looked at each other did you say NYPD Aviation?
NYPD Aviation came over our frequency?
Yep. Okay. And gave an incredible report. The guy, it turns out, I guess someone said, the guy had done that in the Bronx, in Brooklyn before. They were, up there and they saw smoke and
He's a fire buff, man.
I guess, yeah. But it was awesome because, he's hey, just let your units know you have multiple people hanging at the top floor window of the 3-4 corner.
Really?
So when we heard
that, 3-4 corner.
Yep. So we were this
guy's a closet
volley somewhere. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but we were oh shit, great. So, in 41 we split up the guys. So we have the outside team, inside team. Outside team usually goes to the roof. Inside team stays with the boss. Checks the upper floors.
Where was this building? Where was the fire?
St. Nick Place.
St. Nick Place.
Yeah, it's actually directly across from where Mike was, Davidson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was same. It was pretty much kind of diagonal. Oh, yeah. So we got there, pulled up. We knew exactly we were going to the roof. Someone was climbing 28's aerial with a saw, so they were a little slow moving. I'm shit. And I didn't see 34 was set up just on the other side of it, and I was oh, no one's on that one. So we go, and I knew the chauffeur, and I was just hey Phil, we're using your aerial. I had the saw. Tom and Morrison had the rope. So Tommy went up first. I threw my saw into 34's cab. Followed Tommy up. He got off. right to the 3-4 corner. And as we were climbing, as we were walking over, I heard Kotzo from 28.
Mm-hmm.
He gave awesome reports over the radio. He was like, hey, we're setting up a roof rope rescue, and we're sending the guy over. Like, he's going. Like, one guy had already jumped or fell.
Right. So
yeah,
there were 4 people.
4 people came out those windows. Yeah.
First person you jumped.
Yeah, there's a video of it somewhere. It's pretty brutal, but he's like hanging. It looks like he's trying to go hit the windowsill below him.
Oh, he's hanging
from his window.
Maybe trying to swing himself into the.
It looked like it because he hit that. It launched into the building next door, and he kind of rode that down. That guy somehow survived.
He survived.
Oh, one person died that fire, and they were pulled off the 4th floor.
It wasn't from.
And it wasn't from the fall.
It wasn't from the fall. And it wasn't from anybody that was in that room.
No. Yeah. So.
All right. So go ahead.
The Proby. By the time we got up there, the Proby was already made his grab. Lopez. He already made his grab and was on the ground.
Proby from
28 truck.
28 truck.
Yeah. Who had the roof. He already made his grab, was down. Kotzo was there, and he handed Tom Morris. He clipped in. He handed Tom Morris on the rope, and he goes, "You got to lower me. We got someone else out the window." So I was just a guy watching the edge, like telling Tom to stop and go.
Okay.
Like, that's all I was doing. By this point, Matt Murphy, and this is all like in a matter of like 15 seconds.
Yeah.
It's not a long time. Matt Murphy from Rescue 3 comes up. Matt's a rope guy.
Mm-hmm.
Matt was a 34 truck guy, so I knew him.
You guys worked together?
I never worked with him. He was in Rescue 1 when I got there, and then he went to 3.
But you knew him.
I know Matt, yeah. He was an instructor at High Angle School. The guy like does tours in the Gunks, the Shawangunk Mountains. Like, he's a rope guy. He's a mountain climber. Yeah. Like, I saw him, I was like, cool, we're good. Like, we're good. Matt, as he was walking up, was kind of watching everything that was going on. The first 2 ropes didn't have a substantial object. So, like, you tie the rope off, and that's what you lower on.
Mm-hmm.
So the guys put their feet on the parapet, and it works great. It works, And Matt saw the gooseneck, and he just proactively, well, I'm tying off another rope. So we lower Kotzo to the window. He makes his grab, and the guy immediately grabs the rope, trying to just get out of there. Like, the guys wanted out. And Mike's yelling. He's like, grab my neck. And wasn't listening. He was like, all right, just let's go. And Mike, I felt bad. He had I could give you a picture of it. He's got a horrible grip on this guy. Like, he's off to his side. The guy's feet are dangling. It's supposed to be around your neck.
Right.
Arms around your neck, legs around your waist.
Like a bear hug, right? Yeah.
And I think the Proby's the only one who had it like that. Like, he had a picture perfect. Like, and it was like, the cool thing too is after the fact, like, NYPD Aviation had the whole thing on their infrared cameras. Like, they filmed the entire thing.
Right.
So Proby's already down. Mike goes. As he goes, I'm just, like I said, like I never thought in a million years, like, oh, there's going to be a third guy.
Yeah.
You know?
Shit.
And all of a sudden, like, he goes, and I just look back at Matt Murphy. I go, yo, Matty, there's a third guy. So he's like, all right, are you going? And I was like, yeah, I'm going. He's like, clip in, I'm ready. And I was like, clipped in. And
so you clipped into the rope that he had tied up.
Yeah, correct. Yep.
Okay.
And he's like, all right, you're ready to go, go. And it was like that quick. And like, that's how, like my mask is still on. And it was like, oh, why'd you take it off? I was like, I didn't have time. Like, when that guy's head popped out, I was over in like 2 seconds. Like, it wasn't.
You didn't have time to think about it.
Yeah, and it didn't make a difference. Like,
kicked in,
yeah, it didn't make a difference. Like, it didn't hinder me holding on to the guy, obviously, because I had a shit grip on him too.
Yeah.
Like, he came out, same thing, grabbed the rope, and I just kind of around him, hugged him into me, and wrapped one of his legs with my legs. Yeah. And there was a Proby on the roof from 34 that I know. So, and like they're a Proby, like they're doing what they were taught. He's like, all right, down. And I was like, Raffy, tell him to fucking go. Just get me down, go. Like, none of this down bullshit. Like, get me down, And
fucking rope.
Yeah, and we got down, and it was like they went back, took all these measurements and shit. It was like, so we went all the way down. The fire was on the 3rd floor, and these guys were bailing out windows on the 6th. It was one of the e-bikes, blew out into the hallway. Truck companies couldn't get past it. 69 stretched out line quick, had water quick, and they still these guys were bailing, and they needed to go on the rope.
Right.
And
people panic.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't know I don't know the conditions inside, but 3 floors above, people fucking.
And that e-bike smoke is black, man. That's yeah. And what's crazy too is like where they were on the 4 side of the building, 3-4 corner, right? Mm-hmm. But on the 4 side, the back of the building on the 3, one room over was the fire escape, and they couldn't get there.
Wow.
Yeah. So like their apartment was shit.
It was fucking lights
Yeah.
out in their apartment.
Yep.
3 floors above the fire.
Yeah.
Shit.
And
So when you're going over, like this guy jumped onto the rope. Like,
yeah, it was like he kind of like was sitting on the windowsill with his back to me, and when he saw me, like he wasn't waiting, like he was like I want out, like he saw me, he grabbed that rope and just rolled out. So I just under his arms as best I could, held on to him, and like I know like big no, don't ever let them grab the rope, don't ever let them grab the rope. I looked at him, I was like, don't fucking let go, you know, because like I was like I don't have a good grip on you, like just hang on, whatever you can hang on to, hang on to. And I just bear hugged him as hard as I could, wrapped the leg, and we went. It was like I think it was like 85 feet from the top of the parapet to where we went down.
Really?
Yeah, so we got lowered 85 feet, and then yeah, we got down like and like just that adrenaline rush is like it was insane. Like the best thing I can like equate it to like that scene in like Black Sheep with Chris Farley, like when he falls down the hill. And he gets to the bottom. He goes, "What the hell just happened?" Yeah. Like that's how I was like, "What?" I was like, "I can't believe that just fucking happened." Like, by the time, like I'm telling you, by the time we were on the roof, like you think back, you're like, "Oh, we're up there for like a minute or two." Like, we were probably up there for like 20 seconds, 30 seconds.
Yeah. And
that's like how quick it was. And then I started thinking, I was like, "Man, did I even double check that I actually clipped in right?" And then you just think like, "Yeah, I remember like tugging on the rope to make sure it was in my harness and like." Just that muscle memory of doing it all the time.
I've done it so many times.
At least once a week, your entire career.
All the time. Your entire career. You did it in Proby school every day.
Yep.
You just talk about it. You do it. Your muscle memory, like you said, clicked in. That's fucking training took over.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I'm getting like fucking goosebumps.
Yeah.
It's such an awesome story.
Yeah.
So you got that adrenaline rush, right?
Yeah.
You get the guy down, and now you're like, what happens? Did you come down? Did you fucking?
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
The adrenaline.
No, there was no drop. Yeah, it was like wired, like, and like he went back, like, so Tom and Matt Murphy after that whole thing. So Tom Morrison lowered Kotzo from 28. Yeah. Murphy lowered me. Now these guys dropped down. They still got to work. Like they're still working. They go and
job ain't over.
Go start pulling ceilings. So one of the other guys from 41 was like, "Yo, where's Nolan?" Because I took the quick way down, you know. And the guys on the inside got their asses kicked that job. I think they pulled out. I can't remember. I think it was 8 or 12. I can't remember the number, but they pulled out a ton of people. Yeah. Like I feel like I had the easy job that day, you know. Like those guys. Like I got back to the rig man, and like the guys on the inside, everyone like 28, 34, 41, 3. They like all the truck companies at that job got their asses kicked, pulling people out, helping pulling people out, you know. And they saved a lot of people, man. Like I said, one person out of all those people died, and that guy just poor guy happened to be in the hallway when this whole thing happened.
Middle of the day.
Freaking
unbelievable. That's the shit those are the jobs that you remember the rest of your life.
And it's like one of those things where like Lopez and Kotzo, like they were up there by themselves.
Yeah. Got
that done. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and I think Lopez was out of Proby school for, I don't even think a month, like a month or
I think
something like that.
Was only out like a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Right? That's unbelievable.
Yep.
Like, imagine that being a Proby out of
yeah.
Like, how do you go any? Like, how does the job get any better?
Well, that's what we joke around. They sent us to like the Big East tournament. They did like a little thing at halftime.
Yeah.
But every game, like, you know, whatever. We were joking with them. Like, I was like, dude, you could just retire now. You're done. You're done.
You're never gonna reach that level again. You're gonna catch that nozzle job. You're like, holy shit!
Right.
18 rooms of fire. I'm never gonna have another job like this.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, but
amazing.
yeah, it was crazy, man. Like I never thought, like like you drill on this all the time, right? And you're always like, wow, like what are the chances? Like what are the odds? You know? And all of a sudden it's just like, oh shit! Like, and there's no time to be like, wait, hold on, wait. Like you're going. Like that's it, you know. And you know, it worked out great. And like, and they always say too, when you're drilling, like, oh, if this happens, we have 1 million people on that roof. I counted. I think there were 7 total, and we were never all up there together, and it worked great. Like it was like nobody was like, no, that's my rope. This is my, you know. It was all like, you're going, go, good. You're going. I'll lower you. Go.
There's no egos involved.
None whatsoever. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
You could see guys like people could think, oh man, this guy, I'm going. It's my fucking rope.
Yeah.
It's my roof.
And
like, bro.
Like I went over. It was like thanks to Matt, man. I went over on Rescue 3's rope. Like it wasn't our rope. You know, it was his. Yeah. You know, and you know he could have been like, nah, lower me. He would have been like, right, you're not wrong. You know.
So I heard after the whole thing, they had the press conference without you.
Yeah, they told us they were going to tell us about it. Then we watched it at the firehouse. Yeah.
Hey, am I supposed to be there?
Yeah, that's fine, though, man. I've just been like the idiot standing in the back, like, you know.
Have you seen Kotzo and Lopez since then?
Yeah, I actually just saw them on at that game, and then Metal Day. We just did Metal Day.
Okay.
Yeah.
69-28 did Metal Day, right?
Yep. Yeah. So we did that, and I was with the pipe band, so we.
Oh, that's right. You're with the pipe bands and drums and stuff for the fire department. Dude, you do it all, man. What
Yeah,
don't
no,
you do?
no.
Salutatorium, 84, 34
Nah.
squad, roof rope rescue. I play the fucking drums.
Yep.
Good
But
for you, man.
yeah,
Good.
so yeah, it was crazy, but it was quick, man. That adrenaline rush was nuts, you know.
Yeah, dude, you're gonna go down in history,
Yeah.
man. I'm so happy.
Yeah, it was like it's crazy too. It's like the thing is like it was the first triple roof rope rescue ever.
Ever.
Yeah.
It's so crazy because roof rope rescue happens usually maybe once, twice a year.
Yeah.
You hear about it, and in the last couple of years,
More
there's been
often.
a bunch of them, and then 3 at one job.
Yeah, and
It's
I honestly I don't know if it's
insane.
these e-bikes or just like the stuff that's burning that's faster and hotter, but yeah.
Well, these e-bikes are they're lighting everything up. Man.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
It's
they're crazy. Yeah.
But good for you, man. So I don't know. That's it, man. I mean, we've talked a little while, and how long have we talked? We're on just about under an hour. So
Yeah.
we'll let you fucking end it this way.
All right.
All right.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for sitting down with me and coming
Thank you.
down, cousin. All right. Remember,
Go have a
it must be true if you heard it at the kitchen table, and we'll see you at the big one. Take care.